happy 53rd birthday, Patrick Ewing, the greatest Knick of all time in my mind. And it was funny during workout this morning, was watching on MSG a 1994, a clip from 1994, the Knicks playing the Hawks in Atlanta. And what the Hawks were a very, very good basketball team, well coached. They had Lenny Wilkins. They had a great point guard in Mookie Blaylock. They had a very, very solid defensive team, starting with Stacey Augmon on the perimeter. Kevin Willis was a good defender, they were a very, very solid all-around basketball team. They had Danny Manning, who was a great scorer. The Knicks consistently beat those teams. Talking about the Hawks, talking about Cleveland, who had Brad Daugherty and Mark Price and Larry Nance, very, very good team. Early Shaq, Orlando, Shaq and Penny Hardaway, the Knicks would handle those teams. Go up and down the line. Pacers, obviously, they had the big rivalry with. The reason why they were able to get past the teams that they were pretty evenly matched with was Patrick Ewing. And it's interesting now with Porzingis coming into the league, it's going to be very interesting to see how he develops and how quickly he develops on both sides of the ball. You could tell that he does have skills on both sides to become a well-rounded player. When Ewing first came into the league, he was a very limited offensive player, very limited. He was known specifically, strictly for his defense, not as a scorer. But he became and learned to become an incredible all-around scorer. And those are the guys that you love on your team. Those are the guys that you want to grow with and just watch them get better every single year. It got to a point in that 92, 93, right when Pat Riley got to New York, everything just kind of all came together at once. Ewing was just a great offensive and defensive player, a difference maker, a guy who was clutch, a guy who made free throws, a guy who would get big rebounds. And obviously they had the surrounding pieces, the Charles Oakleys, the John Starks. But Ewing was just so good on both sides of the ball that night in and night out, day in and day out, they just won. They were a winning organization. And obviously it's been a long time since that has happened. It's been quite a while, and the Knicks fans that I deal with on Twitter, obviously younger fans, very frustrated. My advice would be go back and watch and appreciate and enjoy the older games. I did it as a kid. When I grew up, I watched a lot of the 73, 70 teams. I was not born anywhere near, I was born a little bit after, but I wasn't born before. I didn't see Clyde Frazier play live. I didn't see Willis play live, but I know about those guys, and I can tell from talking to people who did see them, why they were great and why I should revere them and hold them in such high regard. I don't feel like Knicks fans do that enough with Patrick, and I think that's a shame. So any Knicks fan out there, who maybe doesn't feel the same way that I do about the greatness of who Ewing was, do him a favor on his birthday. Go back and watch some of his videos. I attached the clip before. There are some highlights. You can go on YouTube, obviously, and track that stuff down. The tribute is a great one. As a Knicks fan, in honor of the greatest Knick of all time on his birthday, give him a little love. Do a little bit more homework on the greatness that was Patrick Ewing, a guy who came into the league, known one way and left the league, a well-rounded, complete 50 greatest, one of the all-time best centers. Obviously the number one center in franchise history, but one of the great players in Knicks franchise and in NBA history. Not just the franchise. So happy birthday, big fella. 53. Time goes by quick, man. But it was great watching you play, and it's so great to actually still have highlights and the ability to go back to yesteryear and watch those. I'm Tommy D. Catch you next time.